Anyone who thinks the compact SUV conversation isn't compelling isn't paying attention.
For example, this is the 4th generation Santa Fe from Hyundai, and just with this guy alone, there's a lot to talk about. So let's.
This Santa Fe's had a pretty significant redesign, starting with the name, as the SUV formerly known as the Santa Fe Sport. While it's officially dropped the Sport, it's actually gotten a lot sportier, at least in the looks department. Hyundai's really stepped up the exterior design, starting with the signature cascading grille surrounded by LED headlights that make up the Santa Fe's face. I'll admit I prefer the look of the previous horizontally lined grille and think that would look better with this new design. However, that's just a personal preference.
But from the contours in the door panels to this sleek character line that runs the length of the car, it's definitely gotten more stylish. Even the rear end has some character. I really like what the designers have done here. Now it has some personality. Inside looks completely different. Last generation, I felt like the center stack was pinched. It looked more like a spaceship. This one I think is more intuitively laid out and user-friendly, except for the home button being way over here. Tech is exactly where everybody wants it, with this standard 7-inch touchscreen right at the top of the center stack. The Ultimate trim comes with an 8-inch screen and wireless charging capabilities that we don't have on this SEL Plus.
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard on all trims. This is becoming a thing, and it is good. And thankfully, there are still some knobs in here. Nice. It's all about balance, people. There are some soft touch surfaces in our SEL Plus trim, and the expected harder plastics. But Hyundai's designers did an admirable job keeping things from looking cheap. Even the speakers add visual interest.
I know this was probably designed to make the sound go in different directions, but it kind of looks like quilting. It's awesome. And this real stitching makes a nice attempt at luxury.
Remote entry comes standard, and a proximity keyed entry with push-button start comes on the SEL trim and above.
In this particular Santa Fe, we have cloth seats. I really like the look of them, and they feel great. These bolsters are supportive, but they're soft and comfortable in all the right spots. And every trim except the base SE, they're heated. And let me tell you, they're really working. It's hot. Passenger space in the second row has really improved over the previous generation. And I'm gonna have James here, who's only slightly taller than I, help me prove it. Get in, James. See, that's nice. Oh, and the recline. Recline, James. Oh, that is good. I've flown 10 hours in seats that recline less. Delta, take note. Jeeves, drive.
The middle seat, however, is more airline-esque, and not one I would choose for myself. But a smaller person on a short trip might be workable, because there's no bump. Vents and USB ports come standard back here for your passengers, and there are optional window shades, which are a nice touch for kids. Okay, we can't really have a compact SUV chit-chat without mentioning some of the other talkers. The Chevy Equinox, Ford's Escape, and Nissan's Rogue Sport all have some strong voices. And then there are the yellers in Honda's CR-V and the Toyota RAV4. However, the Santa Fe might have a slight advantage because of its in-betweener size. It could be a value-priced alternative to the larger Nissan Murano or Ford Edge, or a loftier competitor for the aforementioned smaller SUVs. Fuel economy numbers land somewhere in the middle of that highly competitive pack, as does the cargo space with all the seats up. That's better than the Equinox and Edge, but not quite as much as the CR-V or RAV4.
The hidden cargo spaces back here are great. You can actually hide stuff that needs to happen more often, like a backpack or that weird hat and glasses that nobody is going to want to steal.
The SE, SEL, and SEL Plus models come equipped with a 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, while the Limited and Ultimate have the option of a 2-liter turbocharged 4.
Both engine options are mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, which I am thrilled is not a CVT. It's also got a downshift rev matching feature, which is subtle, but it makes for smoother shifts and more continuous power delivery when you move into a lower gear.
Steering and driving feel are about what I'd expect from this segment.
The suspension is a bit softer than I like, and there's significant body roll, especially around corners. But the ride is decent. I wish the steering were a little bit sharper, but the car goes where I aim it.
The Santa Fe is available with either front or optional all-wheel drive. So if you live in an area with seasons, unlike us here in Southern California, $1,700 for extra traction might be worth it. Safety features galore is how Hyundai should market the Santa Fe. Forward collision avoidance assist, driver attention warnings, smart cruise control with a stop-and-go function, blind spot collision warnings, lane keep assist, rear cross traffic alerts. All of these come standard across all trims. All! Only parking distance warnings and rear occupant alerts are offered on SEL Plus trim and above. All that safety and everything else that comes standard has a starting price, including destination charges, of around $26,500 for the SE front-wheel drive model. Climb up the trim ladder to this SEL Plus front-wheel drive example that we've been testing, and that's closer to $31,000. Hyundai will take $35,200 for the limited 2.0T. Thank you very much. Given car buyers' insatiable interest in the category, the current compact SUV conversation isn't dying down anytime soon.
With this fourth-generation Santa Fe, Hyundai's really stepped up its game in a lot of ways that matter, with stylish good looks, tons of standard safety and tech features, and competitive fuel economy. Stay tuned, everybody. Things are about to get interesting.